Here's another one.
This is like
This is a little more complicated.
a little more complicated, but I know if people watch you do it, it's really going to be helpful.
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
And we always hear about the burrito method.
Right.
Even with little garments that are lined, we can do it
Still
that
do
way.
the
Like
burrito method.
the straps on something you want to
You
turn it
gotta
right
roll
side
it
out.
up. Yeah. So it's the same type
Or
of
the
thing.
hot dog. It can be a
A
hot dog.
It could be a hot dog. Yes.
It can be a hot dog method. We're going to do a hot dog method too.
Whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So now this one you can see has embroidery on it. I left the names off. I just put Merry Christmas and then the year. So I mean that's entirely up to you. Do you have to embroider it? No, you do not. So, but I'm just going to show you a couple of easy because you know I'm always in the fast lane.
Yeah.
So you're going to cut your pillowcase exactly the same. It's 27 and then double 21 and a half, right? And then your band is 9.5 folded in half, right? And what I do is I cut that one 21. Well, there it is, 21 and a half. I cut that too. So so I press that fold in. Okay, that's important. So now to get the center for my embroidery, because I don't want to work hard at it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the end of my fabric, and this is just a quick fix. Okay, it's not really exact. Okay, but it's exact enough for me.
Yeah.
And you.
Me too.
It's exact enough for Sally, I can tell
That's
you.
exact enough for me too.
So see, I've just moved this over.
So you have to have a seam allowance.
You have to have a seam allowance. So right, because I want to find the center of the embroidered part.
Right.
So, you know, it's about 1/4 of an inch past my fold right here. Can you see that okay? I need to move that up. There. So I've just folded it back. And I press there. Okay? And then I need my lengthwise fold for the center of the band. So again, I have a seam allowance of 1/4 of an inch.
Right.
So I don't pull it all the way up to the top. I just pull it to the 1/4, and then I press that.
That's right.
So now I have the exact center of the band. And I use my blue marker and mark it, because you don't have to mark it, but once you get it on the stabilizer and you push it up on the machine, sometimes the light, you can't see the crease.
Oh, right.
So even if you just have a dot or something. So then I hoop up I didn't bring all that, so I'm just going to talk about it. I hoop up my stabilizer, and I usually use a sticky stabilizer, a sulky, Sticky Plus is the one I usually use, because it's a sticky tearaway stabilizer. So I don't have to wash the pillowcase.
Oh, right.
See,
right.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's so thin that I want to just baste around it on the stabilizer. So when I get ready to, I hoop up my stabilizer, okay, and I take the paper off. So now all I have is my sticky stuff.
Right.
I line my hoop marks up on the grid here.
Okay.
So I know where the center is, and I know about where halfway is, because I usually use a 200 by 260 hoop, so I can do 2 pillowcases on one.
Oh, that's smart.
So I move my design over. So I'm going to fold it like this. So all I have to do now is go to my stabilizer, stick this down, just like that. You're going to pretend like this is a stabilizer.
Yeah.
Stick it down. There's my center. Flip it over. And there it's all hooped.
Right.
Now I can just baste around it.
Right.
Even though it's sticky, I still baste, because some of the fabric, you know, would draw up, you know, because it pulls a little bit, depending on how much embroidery you're going to do on it too. You know, like just a name, So I always baste around it. And then you're really ready to go. So you pull out all the stabilizer, and then I fold it back in half, and I press. I always use your wool when I press your
from the pressing partners.
Pressing partners. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I press with this on the
oh, the embroidered part you press down on the wool so it doesn't smash it all up.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to melt the.
Right. No, you wouldn't want to melt that.
No.
I don't think I'd want to melt that.
Because I just sewed it. So
yeah.
Then your band is ready to go now. See? So it's all embroidered. Now we're going to put this aside, and we're going to bring in our little pieces, because we have to add rickrack. Let me take these off. We're going to add rickrack to the top half. This is where the embroidery is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So the rickrack is going to end up being flipped up. Can you see that? Once it's finished.
Yep.
All right. So I did, and as I sewed it, I didn't sew down the center of the rickrack. I sewed a little up just at the valleys. I just kind of went across the valleys. Well, when I first did it, I made a huge error, so I had to rip it all off. There's my rip off. See that? It's the truth. I pushed the mountains all the way up to the top, and then once I sewed, I didn't have enough seam allowance, so it was going to come apart.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do was mark my 1/4 inch seam allowance, all right? And then I can use my with a styler, and then I use my glue pen.
Yeah.
You don't want to glue down here because remember that's going to flip
that's
up.
Right.
So I just glued in the seam allowance.
Right.
And put my valleys at the blue line. And then sewed.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's good, right?
Yeah, it's
Got
good.
that?
Got that.
So now we have our pillowcase.
Okay.
All right. So
All
we've
right.
opened up our band, and we're going to put our pillowcase fabric, raw edges even. All right. I've got my couple pins here because I've got this little short piece. And then your burrito or your hot dog, that's when this comes into place. You're going to take your whole pillowcase and roll it up so that it's kind of in the center of your, above your fold, in other words. And then you'll take the rest of your band and fold it over the top. Isn't that
you've
cool?
encased it inside the band.
Right.
Okay.
And then you'll sew it. And I sew it on this side.
So you can follow the line you already have
So you're not sewing in the blind.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're still at your valleys.
Yeah, that way you don't end up showing your stitches and you cover everything
right.
up.
So now, once that's done, now it's really long.
Okay,
because it's the whole pillowcase.
length.
Yeah.
It'll go up just a tiny bit.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, right like that.
And then you just pull it out like this, which will have a whole big piece.
Look at that.
And there's your seam. It's all finished off.
I love
It's pretty, isn't it?
And you know what? One thing you're going to want to do is make sure your Santa Clauses are looking down at you.
Because I didn't do that. There's a blooper for you.
I just noticed.
I didn't pay a bit of attention.
No, I know it. And, yeah, whoops.
That would be good.
Unless you put your Merry Christmas this way, and then you can be... That's cute. I love the way that turns out right side. Yes,
it's really pretty.
Yes.
And you don't have to put, you could just put piping there too.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't have to be rickrack. You could put piping or anything on there.
So then you have your great big wide piece, and it's already embroidered, and now you decide, do you want to serge your seams, French
that's
seam,
up to you.
Whatever you want to do, right?
Right, because that's where we are with this one now. But see how pretty it is. And the Santas haven't been in the eggnog. The right side up.
Stay out of the eggnog.
Yeah.
But look how nice it looks on the inside. It's totally covered.
So you could do your French seam, your serge, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I love that, Connie.
Yeah, I just think it's so cool.
That's neat.
And then of course you'd spray your blue line eraser. You have to let it sit. But, so just spray some of that on there and just go
Look
away.
at that disappear. Boom.
Yeah,
gone.
It's like magic. So,
yeah, that's right.
So that's our.
And you don't have to lick it anymore.
No, exactly. Exactly. So that's our embroidered.
Burrito.
Or burrito.
Our burrito.
That's our burrito.
Burrito
it just
and
happens to be embroidered.
Yeah, that's cute.
I just wanted to give you the tips of the embroidery because I think if you do embroider, you'll understand what I was talking about. If not, well, that's a whole other class.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Good. You can teach me how to use the embroidery.
My grandkids and my great-grandkids are here, so I always have to come back.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, shoot.